Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire. All right, good morning. Let's get on with it. You guys ready to do some Forex? Welcome to Forex.Today, the YouTube community of more than 18,000 foreign exchange traders. Stationed around the world, synchronizing our watches, aligning our satellites. Hey, this way we can what? We can all buy the same thing at the same time for the same reason. That would be pretty cool. Although even then we probably can't move the market. So what are we going to have to rely on? Well, skills like technical analysis, fundamental analysis. You got to have our psychology in check. So there's a lot to do here. This is why we do this as a community and not try to do it as a lone wolf. So I've been in finance and investing and trading now for 25, 30 years, depending on when you pick the start. I mean, I guess 1995 was the year I sat on a board of directors with George Soros. So 1995, that was a few rodeos ago. So anyways, 3, 2, 1, hit it. Let me remind you that trading is risky, not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results. But cheer up! But also be small, stay humble, focus on the long term, never risk money cannot afford to lose. So ni hao, Again, my name is Wayne McDonald. I'm a currency trader just like you. I'm a few years ahead. I've learned a few things. I laughed, I cried. Ultimately, this is blood, sweat, and tears for years. Even after doing Forex for 20 years, it's still a challenge, and I still need to work on improving. So, at least I can share. Why would I want to share? Why not? First of all, I learned in my first business planning retreat long ago that my previous successes in life, and I was successful in before Forex, I always had surrounded myself with other like-minded people, in particular the high-tech startup world. So I was in a few magazines and several newspapers and all that kind of stuff way back in the 1990s. Can you imagine? Holy smokes. So anyways, Forex is my second career. And so I bring a few things to the table. In particular, it might be a way of looking at Forex. I've never looked at it as a get-rich-quick scheme. It was more like, hey, this is the ultimate small business. So that's how I look at things, and that's why I do things like business planning and such. And through all of those experiences, I've found some paradoxes. I've found some universal truths. Taught myself fundamental analysis, taught myself technical analysis, taught myself the financial markets. So I can share, right? And if you're successful, then maybe we can collaborate now and in the future to be successful together. And I'm telling you, it's the secret sauce. It's the secret to success. It's worked in everything I've done, whether it's managing 3,000 people or being in a small business of one. Ultimately asking for help. And this is something I'm trying to teach my children. Asking for help is what a strong, successful person does. So we are asking for help from each other. So that's cool. So thank you for being part of the community. Thank you for clicking like. Thank you for leaving comments. Thank you for asking good questions. Thank you for having a positive attitude in the chat every day and treating each other with dignity and respect. I'd also like to thank Traders Way for being part of our community, because at some point you're going to need to choose a broker, and ideally you have one that not only has decent execution speed and half decent swaps and half decent spreads, but ultimately somebody that you trust. And Traders Way has earned my loyalty and respect. So if you open up a demo account, maybe they will earn your loyalty and respect too. Tradersway.com. Okay. Looks like I'm sitting inside of a space station due to the screen behind you. Yeah, it's interesting, right? So there's Australia. Wait, I got to go this way. There's Australia, right? Where's that? Is that Cape Town? Oh, Cape Town. Right? Pretty cool, right? That would be Shanghai. Right? Very cool. Where's this? London. And my home is right there. Cool. Very nice. All right. Cool. So the thing I've been trading for 7 weeks now is yen weakness, dollar weakness. Okay. What is the name of the book on my table? Which one? This one? Which one? Now you guys are getting into the secret world of the Wayne. Which book? That's funny. The closed one or the open one? I don't mind sharing. I don't think it's child pornography. Yeah, behind you. Well, there's more than one. There's 3 books. All right. The one I have open is this one. Money, Banking, and Financial Markets. Okay. Look how I read with a pen. I read with a pen. Oh, you want the closed one? Well, oh, gee whiz, they're so heavy. They're so heavy. So here's just one on top of the one you're asking about. Financial markets and institutions. But this is the one you want. Okay. Economics, 6th edition, Hubbard and O'Brien. It's over 1,000 pages long. It's got fun stuff in it like that, and probably cost $400 or $500. I'm not sure. Yeah, no price. Obviously, that's scary. Anyways, 1,000 pages of economics. Oops. How about this? There we go. But nobody said education was cheap. Not in America, anyways. All right, so there you go. Now you know what's sitting on my desk. That's what the Wayne do. All right, so anyways, based on macroeconomic research and seasonality, okay, I've been asking for yen weakness. I've been asking for dollar weakness. And so you have to go through the charts with that in mind. Okay, I set this up just the other day of, that holding US dollar down versus everything. Of course, I've created an index of US dollar versus everything, and everything is beating the US dollar. That's cool. And yen, okay. Okay, yen, just massive move, right? Sangham says more expensive than my course. Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah. All right. Okay, cool. So that's good, right? So what does that tell us on the macro level? There should be some risk on based on really, it's not that we're taking more risk. It's more like people are saying the risk is worth the investment. So if, so let's say citizens of Japan have decided the risk is worth the investment to put money into Australia. Okay. Yes, it's not going to work. This version, Kevin, doesn't work with an ECN. The next version does. Okay. So just hang on, Kevin. All right. So Aussie looks good. Kiwi looks good. So this is an APAC move. Euro, like I said, is essentially the anti-dollar. And pound is doing its thing. Remember, the pound and I think the CAD, just going off the top of my head, have appreciated the most out of these currencies recently, whatever that means. So maybe this is just cooling off periods. I don't know. I'm still bullish on oil, as you guys know, and bullish on macroeconomics, as you know, and all that kind of stuff. And CAD has been doing okay, but not amazing. Pound has given a lot, as you can see, and Swissy all over the place. So really right now, Euro dollar looks good. Aussie dollar looks good. Kiwi dollar looks good. And USD kitty cat is probably aight. Okay. And then, of course, everything with the same thing on yen. So we can start with yen and take a look at what we have. Okay. And what we have here is a bottom. And this is a swing trade. That's a run-of-the-mill, okay? That's a run-of-the-mill swing trade, okay? Everyday type of swing trade. The most interesting thing is, since we hit our target, early, Well, let me ask you, if we hit our target early, this is like the 8th or 9th of May, so that's early. What does the training course tell you is a likely response to hitting this price early in the month? Does anyone remember what's in the training course? The price, as crypto correctly shares with us, is likely, doesn't have to, but is likely to return back to the central pivot. Imagine if you don't know these things. Do you think your trading will be inconsistent if you didn't know that? Okay. So anyway, so then you get this bottom, and it's sort of a place like if you were going to be a bull, maybe you start to wake up. You don't have to. I'm not saying that you should know that this is going to happen, but I want you to think about the process of thinking. How many people knew, let's say 3 weeks ago, I'll just take a random number, 3 weeks ago. How many people here knew 3 weeks ago that I'd be selling dollar and selling yen this week? In particular, more than last week and more than the week before. How many people know that? That the end of May, I'm a buyer of something like this. Okay? The reason you may know this is I've been very clear, very vocal, talking about what I want to do 3 weeks in the future. Okay? And then explaining why. So if you knew that, for example, the reason I bring this up is that you could understand, if you had an opinion like that, okay? That if you knew in particular this week you want to get in, then you could look at something like, well, this kind of looks like it could be a double bottom. It's the bottom of a counter trend, time to re-enter, weekly M2, right? Double bottom, take a shot. Okay. Now here's the bewitching part, because you're like, wow, he predicted the future 3 weeks in advance. Well, sort of. I had a plan 3 weeks in advance. There's a difference, right? I'm not predicting the future. I'm just telling you what I planned. Now, how about this? Okay. Theta says, but for May, we were expecting a strong dollar. No, we were expecting sideways. There's a difference. Okay? There's a difference between going bearish on the dollar and not bearish on the dollar, and being bearish on the dollar and bullish on the dollar. I've never been bullish on the dollar. A year ago, right? April 16th, I said I'm going to be bearish in the US dollar every single day for 5 years. Which means this whole time I'm still bearish on the US dollar, but I know when to hold them and know when to fold them. Okay? So in this case, I'm like, look, I really want, one of the things I discussed with the swing trading group is I have between May 1 and May 15th, okay, I expect dollar weakness to dissipate. But between May 16th and May 31st, I expect the dollar weakness to reappear. And that the closer we get to the 31st, the more likely it's going to happen. But I've never said dollar strength. I didn't say buy dollar, because no, I'm not going to. Okay? There's a difference. So anyways, going back to this now, okay, there's this issue of when we're here, I'm talking about, kind of getting out and getting back in somewhere near closer to the end of the month. Now, how about this? Some of you may know that this is not really a price-based entry. See, a typical week, you would say, okay, buy at 84, and the target here is 85.5. Or you buy at 84 and you're going to 86. What's the target? Oh, Peter, you just joined the live group. Just take the courses, join the live group, and stay here every morning as well. All right. What's the target? If it's not 85.5 or 86, 86.5, what's the actual target? June is part of the answer, but TP doesn't mean anything to me, right? June pivots, no. Time-based, right. So what kind of time? I'll accept third week of June. Okay. Any particular reason why it's the third week of June? It's not price-based. I have no idea what the price will be that day, but I will exit. The June Fed meeting. And if it's interpreted in one way, we could be in it to Canada Day, July 1st. If it's interpreted a different way, we'll just walk away. Okay? Now, it looks like at least 10 of you have answered this properly. What does that mean? It means that I discussed my plans with you for a trade like this more than 3 weeks ago. Johnny says, I thought it was Canada. Between the Fed meeting on the conservative side, all the way to July 1st on the aggressive side, depending on what the Fed is interpreted as saying. What they actually say is irrelevant. Okay? We might get an extra pop, okay? Or we may not. It all will come down to what is interpreted as had been said. Okay? So think about it, folks. This is my point. It's not being right on the bottom or my confidence of being right now in the future, which again, guys, think about it. I'm talking another 3 or 4 weeks in advance, maybe 5 more weeks in advance, which was discussed more than 3 weeks ago. And in fact, probably 5 or 6 weeks ago, I outlined clearly my plan. What does it mean? It means you can learn this. And you can do analysis. And you can adjust your risk along the way. Okay? So once again, if you walk in every day trying to figure out what the trade is, you need to change your behavior. Because in poker, when you walk into the room, you have to figure out who the sucker is. And if you can't figure out who the sucker is, you're the sucker. Okay? All right. So, I would even throw out probably 87 is in the sights. 86, 87. I don't think 88, but it's possible too. Because remember, you have to think for your pivots. And I look at June's pivots and they don't see June coming. They can't see the full picture. I do not trade pivot points because they're pivot points. So I can look at June's pivot points and say, oh, they're probably wrong. and I can make my own adjustments. So if I use June's pivot points, they're going to say take profit at 86.5. And I'm like, yeah, well, no, it's probably going to 88 maybe. I think it's 100 to 150 pips wrong. So I will make the adjustment. Okay, cool, right? Cool. Theta says, but Wayne, you said yen is getting less weaker. Right. Not that it is, that I would normally see a rotation. Okay. So, for example, Theta, for this period here, let's say for the last week, dollar has been weaker than the yen. That's what I'm talking about. But they're both weak. Okay? There just was a period where the yen was a lot weaker than the dollar. And then I said around this period, I would expect or have seen in the past that the dollar outperforms the yen. Okay? Okay? But don't oversimplify what I'm saying. So when I say the dollar's going to be weaker than the yen, that doesn't mean the yen is going to be strong. Those are two different statements, right? Right? Like my kids are learning Spanish, and I was helping them prepare for their final examinations this week, and there was a situation where there's the Spanish word for tired, and the Spanish word for sleepy. And my son said, well, they're the same thing. I'm like, no, they're not the same thing. They're right? They're not the same thing. They're similar, but I'm like, you can get tired from exercising, but not likely sleepy. You could, but that wouldn't be typical. Like the workers working in our great room up on these giant ladders, they get tired after working all day, but they don't come down the ladder, lay down on the floor, and go to sleep. No, they sit down and they have a Coke or a Bud Light. But whatever, right? There's a difference. And so me saying I'm looking for a rotation into dollar weakness, that doesn't mean yen strength. Okay, they're just that one may outperform the other when you're making your investment decisions. But either way, fundamentally speaking, I am selling the yen. Fundamentally speaking, I am selling the dollar. And that's that. But in periods of time, let's say a yen portfolio might do better than a dollar portfolio, and then other times the dollar portfolio will outperform the yen portfolio, but I'm managing the portfolios. Okay? And the bias of each portfolio is based on fundamental analysis of macroeconomic trends, which means I'm bearish on both the dollar and the yen. Okay? So be careful with the interpretation you're making. Okay, cool. I think that was pretty clear. All right, so what do we do? I guess I'm sitting here looking at this. Okay. What we're looking at is potentially something like this coming along. It's not quite there yet, but you have to understand my thought process was in the middle of May or at the beginning of May, I'm a bull. Based on this, that's close to a target, and May, I expected to be like this. Okay. Oh, this is Aussie dollar. Okay. How many people here remember me saying that May was going to look like up and down, up and down? Right on, Tommy. Huh? Johnny says yep. Olin says yep. Ricky says yep. Cool. So wouldn't that influence my thought process of, this and then all the way back down? But do I think it's bearish? No. What do I think? Well, I think something like this. And of course, we've already discussed, I expect by the time we hit June, we're going to be on our way to something like this. So let me put it together. In April, what I taught people was up, right? Up, down, and then what? Up again. Now, did I know it was going to be exactly this way? No, but a general assumption for market conditions, to have that before it happens is helpful. Do I know what's going to happen? Am I pretending that I have that kind of vision, that I'm an oracle? No. But I have a general idea of market conditions. And therefore, I can make assumptions and adjustments. Right? Sangham, I have no idea who you're talking about. Okay. Okay. All right. So anyways, let's do the time warp again. Okay. Oil. We're getting closer and closer and closer and closer. Looks like the Americans are going to let Iran sell oil again. So you're going to have to adjust your supply analysis accordingly. Okay. Okay. What do you think? Okay. How long ago did I put this vertical line? Was it March? Okay. I said this is going to be a critical period in time. Or was it only a couple of weeks ago? Oh, okay. Is sideways movement typical? Join FX Bootcamp, go through the courses, learn about fundamentals, macroeconomics, and seasonality, and you'll have your answer. So anyways, this is all messed up. I'll have to redo all of this. I guess we can just do it now. I guess we could change that to silver. I'm gonna get messed up if I do that, don't I? And that goes, well, I guess we could do, if we're gonna do Brent, I guess we can do gold and silver. And what else? Oil, nat gas. We need one more, I think. We don't have any other commodities, huh? Yeah, I'm one off. What should I kill? Some of you guys like nat gas, so I kind of have to leave it. And XAG. Okay, let's look at silver. Okay. Nothing really helpful here. Okay, nothing really helpful. Not a big weekly swing. Waiting for a monthly move. It's just like in here, for example, in this sort of low to this high, it would be assumed that bulls would buy. Okay? Bulls buying up here are too aggressive, most likely. Sometimes it works, but this would be like too aggressive. Oops, that was supposed to be yellow. And I'll make that highlighter. Okay, this is typically too aggressive, so I'd say you could do it. That's why it's sort of yellow. You could, I'd caution you, but in the right time of year, for the whatever reason, maybe that's decent. But this is the buy area. Okay, this is the buy area. So we'll see. What's up, Denny boy? Yeah, boy. Oh, you just haven't got to that unorthodox? All right, cool. Okay. So, what do you make of that? Well, buyers would just start buying. Like some will buy on price, but others might buy on technicals. And so you kind of start threading these things together. You know, this is a weekly plan, and it may also be a monthly plan. Okay? I think if you combine this into an area, which I essentially did doing it the other way, and combine this area, right, you'll see that you have a plan A and you have a plan B as a bull. Bears, okay, a bear did something here, maybe. It doesn't look that way. I would guess that's bullish profit taking, but nonetheless, if a bear did something there, it'd be foolish for a bear to do something at these prices. That's why they're bull zones. Okay. Yeah, I'll do XRP. Okay. Okay now. Okay. And then gold just doing its thing. Okay, cool. Okay. You guys happy how we traded gold since April? Are you happy with the analysis? Okay. Remember on the way down, I said I'm a buyer, but I like the prices, but not the timing. And in here, I like the timing and the prices. So I hope you're buying dips. You got it? Right on, Revelations. Okay. Remember, this is the day we expected US dollar to weaken. Okay. And then later on, this might be central banks devaluing currencies, which is cool. I don't have Doge. Sorry, Herman. By the way, my mechanic, though, I was talking to my Porsche mechanic, and this is a different one. I have multiple mechanics, which is really scary. Not the other guy, because I said, oh, my mechanic got really excited when he found out I was a currency trader and he just wants to talk about cryptocurrencies all day. Not that guy. A different Porsche mechanic at a different Porsche place. Anyways, it's cool. It's like a museum. They had to move a Ferrari out of the way to get my Porsche in there. It was kind of cool. And they have 57 Chevys, and they had some Mercedes S-classes. And just interesting place. Anyways. So anyways, I was talking with him, and he's like, oh, yeah, he bought Doge 2 years ago or something. I'm like, really? You bought? I said, so you're still in it? He's like, well, I took out 365,000 not long ago, and I'm going to hold on to the until I can pull out 1.5 million with the rest that I have. I'm like, holy shit. I said, I'm right. I said, I was in the .com days in the 90s, and I said the cliche was everyone made quick money, and suddenly they were millionaires. And they decided they were millionaires because they were geniuses, not because they got lucky. So they decided to invest into a whole bunch of .com companies, and they lost it all. I said, just when you got enough to live the rest of your life comfortably and retire, like if you could pull 1.5 million out of Dogecoin, just put it in a retirement account and let it grow at 8%, because this guy's not that old. And I'm like, look, you're going to have 3 or 4 million to retire with, and you'll live comfortably the rest of your life. Like, just do it. Like, don't just start throwing a whole bunch of money at more cryptos. So we'll see. Of course, he's going to ignore me, but what an amazing story. I'm like, fudge, really? My Porsche mechanic's a millionaire on Dogecoin. All right. Yeah, we can go to the new crypto area. Cool. Lots going on with XRP, huh? Been watching that? It dropped to 50. Okay. So it dropped to 30, then it dropped to 50. What's the new drop? It's counting it as an outlier. All right. Funny math, huh? Funny math. Ignore the amazing parts. That's how math works, huh? Ignore the amazing parts. All right, so let's not do it that way. Let's try to not ignore the outliers. And oops. I think that's about right, at least for this chart. Okay. So what does that mean? Well, I don't know. If you're going to try to guess, just pretend you're doing statistical analysis and say, right, this, you would almost do it like a new mean, a mean of the lows or something, right? And you would do here. So maybe now you buy it at 65. I don't know. That's a wild guess. Theta says, hey, is Bitcoin correlated to dollar? Well, if Bitcoin's priced in dollar, then how could it not be? Maybe you want to trade Bitcoin in terms of gold, or Bitcoin in terms of euro, or Bitcoin in terms of Venezuelan peso, and then see. Okay. 88, the answer to that would be velocity of the counter trend. Okay. So what do you think? I don't know. I don't know what to make of this. It's all gobbledygoo. Okay. But maybe that's logical. I couldn't tell you. Okay. Do you guys like Litecoin? Okay. Did you know it hit S2 and stopped? Okay. Came up to the 4-hour 21 and is turning red. Okay. Right now, it's very technically bearish, kicking off of 200 as a high. So right now, this is holding. Okay. But I don't know how technical this will remain. We call this a full Monty, by the way. R2 to S2. Absolute total full Monty. It's difficult because this isn't really a technical pattern. So for those that are just want to buy it because it's lost, it went from 400, okay, and now we're below 200. It actually went down to 130. Okay, what do you call that? Usually fool's gold. Okay. So someone might buy it simply because it's cheap. That's usually a very dumb idea, but you can do whatever you want. It's your money. Okay. Okay. Yeah, 420. I see it right here. 417. Okay. Okay. But analysis of this says, it's reasonable to think that this could be, let's say, 75 in the next week or two. It could lose another $100. It could go from 400 to 300 to 200, 100, and then sub 100. And you're like, wow, I want to buy that. Okay. Yeah. Well, so my son says, well, but if you had bought Dogecoin or something, and he was trying to say you could have turned $100 into $1,000 or something. So I opened up my trading account. I'm like, look at this trade. And he looked at it. I'm like, I've been in it for 3 months and I've turned it conservatively. Right. I've increased its value that much. Like if you had invested $100 like at that day in this trade, it's now 1,000. If you had invested 1,000, it would now be 10,000. If you put in 1 million, it would be 10 million. I said the difference is I never faced a market that could drop 50% in a week, but I still made 10 times my money in 3 months. I just did it without the crazy volatility and without the guesswork. My son's like, oh, okay. Right? So people get excited on the get rich quick scheme or aspect of cryptocurrencies, and they love it when they hear a mechanic is a millionaire now. I look at this and think, holy shizer. How would you like to lose 75% of your net worth in a matter of 2.5 weeks? Well, that doesn't sound good to me, right? Oh, but if you buy it low and it goes up, you can make 10 times on return on your money. Yeah, but I can do that with Forex without that volatility. I mean, for crying out loud, I'm leveraged 100 to 1. How could you not make 10 times your money? Okay. Right? Like, oh my God, if you're not making 10 times on your money trading Forex leveraged 100 to 1, then how the hell are you going to do it with Litecoin or Bitcoin or something? It's not that I'm anti-trading this, but it's the attitude of getting rich quick on these currencies. And then I think of 1 million people having their trading accounts blow up during this move. And I'm like, well, good, get rid of them. Because I face crisis like this if I'm going to invest into this asset class, right? Like if I buy in here and let it rally, and then it comes back and I buy here and let it rally, and it comes back and I buy it here and let it rally, and I buy it here and I let it rally, and I buy it here and let it rally. Meanwhile, maybe 90% of the market is only buying in here, leveraged, 200 to 1, and they got no money and they're all leveraged here. So it comes up and takes them out and drops my market now 40% in a week or two. I'm like, holy crap, why did it just collapse? Because most of the market is stupid. And that makes it difficult for me. If everyone is here buying it way too high, way too expensive, with poor technicals, poor fundamentals, and they have all their stops jammed, boom, 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 because they're trading like kings, but they're broke. So then they get stopped out. The whole market crashes like a tidal wave. And here I just made normal investments, right? Like, I don't need that volatility. Do you understand? Like, that type of trading and investing is bad for the market. So get rid of them. If they paid the penalty of being over leveraged, dude, I spent 20 years on YouTube publicly telling people to lower their leverage, lower your lot size, lower your lot size, lower your lot size. So if there's a whole bunch of people here that lost a whole bunch of money because they were over leveraged, had giant lot sizes, had very tight stops, had no idea what they were doing, then good. Now maybe they'll leave. And now, the adults can trade Bitcoin and make it legitimate. Okay? Good. Get rid of them. Right? Same thing happened in Forex. Forex used to, I wouldn't say like move like this unexpectedly, but it would move with giant gaps. You could have 300 pip gaps on non-farm payrolls and stuff. That doesn't exist now because of the increased liquidity, meaning more people, the market's more mature, and it's very rare to even get a gap, let alone a big gap, right? Cool. But Bitcoin is still an immature market, and it behaves like children are involved in trading it. Okay? So when Bitcoin becomes a joke cliche 10 years from now, oh, remember when everyone was trading Dogecoin, right? When we get to that and the market's mature where there's real traders, real investors, Bitcoin has become much closer to a currency, like a true medium of exchange, and the market becomes more mature and less volatile, then it will also become closer to a store of value. You see, like if you believe in Bitcoin, you want to get rid of the gamblers out of the industry. Just like you want to get rid of ICOs that are just scams. That was bad for the industry, right? Get rid of them. Boom, gone. Great. So then the market matures. So in this case, if 920,000 people had their accounts blown up in this period here and dropped Bitcoin from 60,000 to 30,000 in a very, very short amount of time, then good. I hope they don't come back. And I hope you trade it like an adult and you're able to make money, and it's a form of either speculation or a form of investment, but you got sound reasoning behind what you're doing, and you don't have to face the risk of the entire market collapsing because such a large portion of the market are degenerate gamblers over leveraged. That's bad for your portfolio, guys. You see? I care about you. I care about your portfolio. And why would you invest into an asset that can drop 30% in a weekend? 10% in a weekend. I get alerts on my phone. Oh, Bitcoin has dropped 13% today and it's happening on a Sunday. I'm like, oh my God. Okay. A 13% decline for a portfolio would mean you're out of business. You get hit by redemptions, you'd be a laughingstock, and you'd never work in the industry again. Or it's just another Sunday. So if you believe in Bitcoin, if you believe in cryptocurrencies, you need it to mature. Right? Okay. Right? Hey, good morning, HK. All right. Cool. So, yeah, do what you got to do. So let's say you're a big fan of XRP. Cool. I would invest as if I didn't think it was going to do this again. By this, I don't mean price, I mean velocity. Okay? Cool. So if you're going to buy it again down at 50 cents or 65 cents, good. You can say, well, you think in the future you could achieve $2 again. Maybe higher. Good. Well, put together a trade plan. Okay, you see how easy this is? You've had 2 chances to do it. Now, Pete, by the way, where's Peter? Yeah, here he is. Peter's here. He was telling us down here at 19 cents and again at 34 cents to get in. Okay, so it went from 20 cents to $2. Nice shot. $88. I didn't say everyone's a degenerate gambler, but if you're over leveraged here, okay, again, the idea is you don't have a lot of money, so you're going to borrow a whole lot of money and put the whole thing on, risk the whole thing. That's what a bet is. Except I'm not sure if a casino allows you to use leverage. Okay. So instead, you could say, I don't have a lot of money, but if I treat this like a business, and invest and work hard over long periods of time with consistent returns, I will get somewhere in the future that's better off today. Okay? That's different than I don't have any money, so I need to borrow a bunch of money, throw it down, and if it hits, I win big. And if it doesn't, I'm out. Well, there's no value creation there. It's not valuable. And that person, if they're just out of the attitude of it, if it works and they make a lot of money because it does hit, they're going to do it again and lose it all. So it's all irrelevant. So you have to decide that this is a career. Right? It's the process of deciding that this is trading, for example. Trading and investing is your career. It's your mark on the world. Okay? Trading and investing is your mark on the world. This is your reason for being. Your raison d'être. Okay? If you look at it as a way to get rich quick, you will fail. Right? Okay? Because there's no value. It's like winning the lottery. Okay? It's like winning the lottery. Okay? You can win the lottery, doesn't mean you become smart and sophisticated. You're right? So I want you to be a smart, sophisticated business person. Okay? Rari's got some XRP. Yep. Peter's Lambo, the license plate says XRP VIP. Yeah. Cool. All right. Cool. Ethereum, right? Neat. Cool. So we're kind of pinging off here. If it kind of turns, it'll be interesting because you could play this as a bottom. So if you're a bull, what you're looking at now for the next move would be, you'd set it up like this. What? Peter says, Wayne, are you saying there's no value in blockchain? No, the opposite, Peter. What I'm saying is people that buy it with only the intention of getting rich, meaning they buy it because it's cheap, or they buy it because they're guessing it's going to go from 0.0001 to 1.000. There's no value creation in a guess or a bet. Okay? So it's the attitude toward cryptos and Bitcoin and blockchain, Peter, that I'm discussing. The validity is not what I'm discussing, right? And Anna's like, well, that's almost everyone in the crypto market. Well, see, that's going to change. And I saw it happen in Forex, by the way. People used to laugh at me because I was a Forex trader, because it was for degenerate gamblers. It's exactly how crypto was. Oh, Forex, that's for degenerate gamblers. And by and large, they were right. Okay? I don't know, Greg. I'm not a U.S. citizen, so I don't know that process. All right. Okay. So anyways, yeah. So, okay, attitude anyways is amazingly important. Okay. So Ethereum, you know, what kind of prices are you looking at? Like I said, are you buying a dip? Are you playing this as support? I mean, there's all kinds of ways of looking at this, right? Right now, I'm just saying I'm not a U.S. citizen, so I don't know what the rules for U.S. citizens are. Okay, cool. La 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 la, blah 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 blah. I guess we'll just leave crypto there for a bit. There's stuff setting up. Okay, you should, if that's what you want to be doing, you can see maybe later today you'll have some entries. Take a look at exotics. Okay. So it looks like another couple hundred pips profit on Rand. Okay. Same kinds of returns you will get in cryptocurrencies, but without the volatility. Yeah, Peter, I can't tell you how many times people have told me, "Oh, well, you should just buy everything when it comes, you should just buy everything and hope hope one of them hits." And it's such like it's hard for me to comment as a professional that does this day in and day out, and people that, I mean, it's, yeah, okay. So, anyways, right, here's 1,000% return on investment made very conservatively over a short period of time. I think for most people, that's about, 100 days, less than 100 days, 3 months. In the course of 3 months, with very little volatility, 1,000% return on investment. Okay. Without it suddenly, in one day coming back to here. Now, there is some volatility. That's not a small amount of volatility, but it's not 30% of the currency, right? Right. This is actually compared. If you put it to a crypto, I don't know, let's say Bitcoin. Bitcoin went from 65 to 35 in about a week. And if you were looking at South Africa Rand doing the same thing, it probably did just percentage wise, this looks big, but compared to the volatility in many of these cryptos, it's tiny, minuscule. Okay. Here's all these shots at 20. I got them lined up for you. Boom and boom. Looks like they both work. Plan A and Plan B. Very cool. Mm-mm-mm-mm. So I think we did the other ones too already, right? We did this. Okay. Here's the one from yesterday. Oh. Okay. Here's the kitty cat. Okay. I pulled this across. Okay. This was from last week, by the way. Okay. Just slowly climbing. CAD. A beast having trouble, but you know, if this can hold, it'll probably be game on, right? So this shows you like there could be this going on. So I don't know how bullish you are, but from this low to this high, we have a 50%, right? So now you know if it's going to go up, it's going to go up in the sweet spot. You'd look at this and say, well, maybe the psych level of 54. So as you get close to 54, you probably want to buy it. Well, it got down to 54.10, 54.8. So you know that you're not risking much more than this, which is just a tiny bit of pips. So, of course, if you were trading this, you know, that's what you got going. Right? Okay. What do you think? Are you going to do it or are you not going to do it? Are you a bull or are you not a bull? It's okay not to be a bull. This is a high, this is a lower high, and this would create even a lower high. Okay? But bulls might be saying this. What do you stink? So Darko's like, yeah, it could be a good chance. Well, the thing is, you have to look at everything else. So look at everything else on the same time frame. Look at the 4 hour. 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 Okay, is this an opportunity? Okay, you're comparing candles here. Okay. Kapari's like, hey, this is bullish. Good. Well, I'm trying to point out that this is a zone, an AO, for example, an area of opportunity. Okay, you see it? Well, I guess I'll leave you with that. For those that are in my swing trading group, I apologize. No macroeconomic lecture today. I've been swamped, surprised actually by MIT, because in the first week they're like, "Hey, thanks for doing all this reading and watching videos and all that kind of stuff. Here's some homework." The homework I thought was like stupid easy, and I did it so super quick, and I got one of the highest scores in the class of 200 people. So I thought it'd be the same this week. So I go through it. It took me maybe 14 hours of study. I did most of it over the weekend, right? And I'm like, okay, so now I got to crank out the homework. And I get there, and it's like 3 essays. I'm like, right? I'm like, and they're like, question 1.1, question 1.2, question 1.3. And I'm like, oh my God. So it was a bit of a blindside by MIT, where week one was pathetically easy, and all of a sudden now, instead of maybe taking an hour or two to do the homework, it looks like I have to spend the whole frickin' day getting this done. So yeah, a bit blindsided by the folks at MIT. I guess in my opinion, that was poorly designed and poorly communicated. If they should have said, "Look, this is a hell week," The last one was so easy. I'm like, fudge. I don't even have to try. Now I have to like. So anyways, it's not cool. All right, not cool. So anyways, apologize for that. But hey, if I put together a cryptocurrency course after I'm done MIT, after I'm done putting the macro course together, would you guys be interested? Nuno says, I'm sure it'll be worth the effort. Yeah. Could be. I mean, maybe I can. Oh, so anyways. Right? For show? Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I think many of you guys already know more. But, but here I'm studying right now, and my homework has to do with public policy and security compliance. And you might, right? Maybe that's what you're interested in. You're like, oh, well, maybe that's the part of this you don't know. So I don't know. Marina's like, not in dollars. Well, your rand is getting strong, Marina. Oh, right, that rand is good. So anyways, yeah, just my thought. So let's get on with it. Peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May our profits be above average. Thanks for being part of the community. Please leave a comment on the recording. Document what you learned, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks. Thanks, y'all. All y'all. Bye.